Hello everyone and welcome back to my cozy sewing room. I am Maria of Historical Belle and this is Lucky, the best sewing supervisor ever. And today we are going to tell you about how we made my historically accurate Maid Marian outfit. The Ren Fair, the Georgia Ren Fair that is, has started doing this fall fling thing. They started doing it last year and I actually made this outfit for it last year and I again wore it this year because we love wearing something more than once. And I've also been wearing this cosplay / historical tunic for our medieval reenactment events with the Society for Creative Anachronism, which is kind of like a cross between historical reenacting and a LARP, which is very fun. So the cosplay I made is technically 3 pieces. So there's the under tunic, which is pink. There is the over outfit, which is called the Silas. And then there is also the veil that goes with it. I am basing my outfit off of the Maid Marian outfit that, well, Maid Marian wears in Robin Hood, the 1970s Disney version, because that's, Robin Hood is a fox. That is how this is. But I did look at some interesting inspiration from other Robin Hood movies, especially the one in the 1930s, which had a lot of influence on just like how we think about Robin Hood and Maid Marian, what they look like. It was interesting. She also has like some purpley pinkish outfits too. So I'm making these outfits to look historically accurate, like what would have Maid Marian Robin Hood looked like in the 1100s at the time. I believe it's the Third Crusade. So this is what I came up with and thought that these outfits would look like historically if we're looking at the time period in which the Robin Hood movie is set. No one really knows when the legend of Robin Hood began. It's kind of those things with urban myths and legends and things like that, is that you can't always pin down exactly when they were told. But since I'm going to go with the Disney movie, I set the outfits in the time period that the movie is set, and I'll tell you more about that right now. So, the 1973 Disney movie Robin Hood is set during the Third Crusade when Richard the Lionheart is away and has left his brother Prince John in charge. So that would be in 1198 to 1192. I decided to use some linen for this project as that would be a common type of fabric that they would have had in the end of the 1100s. Here is my husband holding the green fabric that I used to make his Robin Hood outfit. If you're interested in that, I have a whole nother video about it. Now here I chose a pink linen and a purple linen. Is it true 100% linen? Probably not. I don't know. I got it from Fine Fabric and it's always just kind of a guessing game when you go there. I have been told now that they will do a burn test for you if you ask. I'm not taking any chances, even if it is not 100% linen. I went ahead and I serged the ends and then I washed it because then that just kind of processes your linen for you. And now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and use my t-shirt method for cutting out my tunic. I have a whole nother video where I go into this in a little bit more depth. I'll link that below, but basically you use the t-shirt as a guide as to where your neck hole should be, your armhole should be, and what your width should be. And then you just need to take the measurement from your shoulder all the way to your hem. And for me, I want my hem to be all the way at my feet. For most traditionally female garments, they would go down all the way to your feet, or also if you were a man of high status, they would also be longer, showing off that you could afford more fabric and don't have to do manual labor. Here I am cutting out the gores. The gores go in the side of the tunic, allowing for more movement and for it to be more flowy. I am just using the width of my fabric and then took the measurement from my waist down to my hem, and then that's going to be where the fold or the side is. And I'm probably going to end up just cutting this in half so then I'll have a seam on each side, but we'll see. I'm also trying to make this really fast and then just cutting it on the bias. So there we go. Now I have 2 gores, 2 giant triangles. I made a gusset. The gusset goes under the arm and allows for more movement since we don't have curved seams yet. Or if you did, they were rarer, I guess. I like to just do straight seams with a gusset. It just is slightly easier, especially for patterning. For my gusset, I think I did like a 5-inch or 6-inch square. For my sleeves, it actually worked out really well the way that the width of the fabric was, and what I needed my width to be for my tunic left about 8 inches wide. I always like to measure how big the arm side is on the t-shirt and then go from there. but this worked out really great. And because this is the 1100s, I am not shaping the sleeve. They're just going to be long tubes. They don't go in at all. And then they were about 30 inches long. I forget off the top of my head what my measurement from my shoulder to, I usually do about midway through my hand, so then I have enough to cuff them. Remember, seam allowance is important. I am sewing all of this by machine. Is that historically accurate? Absolutely not. This would have all been done by hand. But for all of the seams that you cannot see, I'm going to do it by machine. And if I have time, I'm going to hem the neckline, the cuffs, and the hem by hand. So then it has a little bit more of that historical ambiance to it. But the seams that you'll never see, well, you'll never know unless you watch this video that they were done by a machine. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. You now know all my secrets. Alright, now it's time to cut out the neck hole. I've sewn the sleeves just currently. Now it's time to work on the bodice area. So I like to go ahead, cut my neck hole out, and then sew the shoulder seams. And then, well, we only have like a couple side seams to do and put the sleeves in, and then ta-da, we have a tunic. I love medieval sewing. It's so easy. So here's my neckline. It is a little bit more pointed than I normally do, but I was in such a hurry and I was like, this is fine. I kind of like it. Let's see how this goes. Thought it was great. Now here I am inserting the gores. Like I said, they are some giant triangles. Gores do not have to be this big. I just decided to make mine this big because it's Maid Marian. She's quasi royalty, and I like a big swooshy dress. Okay, excuse me. It's my weakness. So I like to make my gores really big because then you get a little bit more of a swish, especially since I'm only doing gores on the side, since that is more common for this time period in the 1100s. A lot of times we don't see like center cut gores until really like the 1200s, like mid 1200s, but I'm starting to think that there actually might be some on bleos, which is like a really high class garment. I'm doing a bunch of research on bleos right now, and there will be vlogs about my bleo research and making of bleos coming probably next year. But here we are. I'm just going to sew all this together and then try it on. And then I only have a couple more things to make because this is the under tunic for my Maid Marian outfit, and then I have to make the Silas and the veil still. All right, it has sleeves, it has gores, it has gussets. Let's turn it, well, I guess, let me turn it right side out this way. And let's try it on. All right, which way did I sew this down? All right, this way, okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay. I feel good in this. Obviously, too long of sleeves, but I've been trying to give myself the problem of having too long of sleeves and too short of sleeves because I can fix this much easier. But yeah, I can take like a good chunk off of that. I need to even up the ends here, but I have a good idea of how I'm actually supposed to do that versus just like I did last time where I cut it straight and that didn't quite go so well. Neckline. I like the neckline. I think it's good. It feels like fitted enough, like right through here, and I'm happy with that. Oh, whoops, I didn't sew one side seam. I'm gonna go fix that. But otherwise, I think you can tell like there's like a little, like supposed to be, you know, this is the waist. All right. It's only like 9:30, so, and this is mostly cut out, so I'm just going to try to do some finishing. Am I going to try to hand finish parts of this? Yes. Is it going to be all hand finished by tomorrow? Absolutely not. But hopefully parts of it will be, because I just don't want to like machine sew it and then like either I leave it like that forever or then I have to go back and unpick it and then redo it. So, and I also have tomorrow morning because the event doesn't start till 2. So we'll need to probably leave about 1, but we want to get there at 1:30, so we'll need to leave here at 12:30. Yeah. I still have like all morning, so I'm feeling good about this.
Still need to make a veil. Still need to get that together. So right now, oh my gosh, I'm going to go sit on the couch and watch the Georgia game. They're playing Georgia Tech. They're not doing good. They're not doing good. It's not great. So gotta go cheer them on, give them some inspiration, because whew, they're testing my nerves.
Here I am doing some hand sewing. I'm just doing a hem stitch along the hem of my garment as well as my neckline and my sleeves while cheering on my Georgia Bulldogs. They are doing okay against Georgia Tech this year. I was watching the 2024 game in this clip. Yes, I made this literally a year ago. Thankfully, the Bulldogs also won against Georgia Tech in 2025. I was more scared about that game, but they did better. And then here I am just evening up where the gores are. My math didn't quite math right, but that's okay. Just a little rounding fixes it.
UGA won last night in 8 overtimes. What an insane game. Second longest in college football history. I went to sleep probably around 1. I woke up naturally about 8:30. I know, lucky. I'm old. And I wake up early now. And which is still, and also that is still sleeping in for me. Because of my new job, I wake up much earlier. But now it's about 9:30ish, and I'm back to work on this. I need to leave in about noon. So we don't have that long, but it's about together. So, and if I have to machine sew a hem, so be it, lucky. So be it.
I called my sweet husband in to help because I needed help ironing this purple fabric. That's going to become my silas. So here we are. We're going to use the t-shirt method for the silas as well. The silas is a garment that basically is like a sleeveless over tunic, and it was really popular really starting around the 1220s. So Maid Marian in this movie is quite the trendsetter. She's wearing a style that is about 20 years in the future, but hey, it's at least closer than some things I've seen in other historical dramas. So here we are, and she's definitely wearing an over tunic, some type of surcoat or silas. I decided to go with a silas. Silases are fuller and I decided to make this really, really full. I decided to just fold this in half because it was kind of not that wide of fabric. So I'm working with this folded so I don't even have to sew a shoulder seam. And then I put my t-shirt in the middle and I just took from there to the side. So I have a bias to bias for my gore that I'm going to put in the side. So I'm going to put gores in the side as well as having it just flare out, and it is going to be so full. I am so excited. So here I am making my gores, just folding it in half and then cutting it down the middle. It's going to be some really flowy silas. I also am still loving using my electric scissors. I can cut things out so fast, so fast with this, which is great because I sew myself into tight deadlines almost constantly. I'm getting slightly better about it, depending on what I'm doing in the time. So anyway, here's my silas and I'm putting in the gore. Now the gore on this one goes all the way to the armpit, and I used some YouTube videos to help me kind of pattern this, and I will also link those below. There's really one great video that I used and watched a lot was from Opus L and I about making a silas. So I will give credit where credit is due and link that down below. So here I am putting in that gore. Again, my math didn't quite math all that great, and I have a little bit extra at the end, but I'll just snip that off and round it out and it'll be fine. Now, I am also machine sewing all of this, and if my memory serves correctly, I think I ended up doing a machine hem on this one as well because it was just so big and I had so little time that I just did not have time to hand sew this hem. And then here I am cutting the neck hole because I folded it over just because the way of the fabric was. I did not need to do shoulder seams, so that was a nice little time saver. And then here I am, and I'm going to round out my gores as well. I could have even made them a little bit shorter because I have worn this to fair, and also my husband, who just loves to stand next to me very closely, steps on these constantly. So
all right, it's wearable. Let's see what we've done. I'm a little concerned that the sleeves might be a little bit too big for what I was like kind of going for with this. We'll find out. Can always sew them up more, I guess. Oh, well, do I feel a little bit like a circus tent, but in a good way. Alright, I do need to sew the sides up just a little bit more, but I think that'll be fine. And then, just gotta do like a hem and neck and sleeves, and I was also going to try to make a veil, so we'll see if I have time to do that. I think I might. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 10 a.m.
It's only 10. Got like 2 hours. Feeling okay about that, Lucky. I'm feeling okay about that.
I did end up having time to hand sew the neckline and armholes of this stylus, which is nice because, you know, people aren't going to be looking at my hem as much as my face and chest area. So at least I still have a little bit of authenticity there. Now I need to make the veil, and her veil looks very circular. It's very whimsical. In some pictures it looks pink, in some areas it looks more white. I decided to go for a white veil because those seem to be more historically accurate and traditional. Therefore, I decided on where my center should be. I chose how long I wanted it, which was like down to like right below my derriere from like my forehead. Took that measurement, halved it, and then from the center did radial marks all the way around and then cut in a circle. And then once I had cut half of the circle out, I flopped it over so that I could use that as my pattern. And then I quartered it to see how everything was lining up. And it actually looked pretty good. I think I did some good measuring here. And then for the hem, I kind of did like a rolled hem and I decided to hand do that because like machine doing a rolled hem, I mean, you can if you have like the right presser foot, but I just think doing it by hand is better and more historically accurate for something as visible as the veil. And like I said, I was doing this at the last minute. I was literally sewing my veil on the way to the Fall Fling Fair, but I got it done in time for us to go meet Robin Hood, or really for Robin Hood to meet Robin Hood. The characters at this fair were so much fun. I have a whole vlog that I am getting ready for y'all, so you can come along on our adventure to the Fall Fling Renaissance Fair for the first time. So be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. I want to shout out my Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for your contributions that make this educational content happen.